Coming up on Cronkite News, with gas prices rising, we look at whether people are taking mass transit more to save money.
Plus, calls for more action. Those in favor of protecting the right to an abortion gather outside the White House.
And later, we dive deep into the world of construction and what builders are doing to be more eco-friendly.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Brianna Garcia.
And I'm Luke Chatham. Thank you for joining us. Gas prices are dropping, but if you filled up your tank lately, you know that prices are still at a pain point. According to AAA, a gallon of regular gas averages $5 in Arizona. I took a look at how high prices at the pump are impacting public transit and whether more people are heading to their local bus or light rail. Public transit, an essential service for many traveling around the valley. But in recent months, riders say that buses and light rail are more crowded.
Now people are starting to come back because of the gas prices that are going up, so we see more people coming on a bus than before.
When the pandemic hit, many people quit riding public transit. Working from home became the new norm, and the need for public buses and light rail became less popular. Now people are coming back to work, and with gas averaging over $5 a gallon, public transit is an appealing option for more people.
So when we compare our ridership this spring to looking at the spring 1 year ago in 2021, we've certainly seen an increase in ridership on both bus and rail.
Compared to May 2021, Valley Metro says bus ridership has increased 17%, rail is up 38%, and Valley Metro's van pool program has seen an increase of 44% in May of 2022.
We have seen an increase in people requesting our van pool program, so we can attribute a lot of that to gas prices as well.
It may not only be gas prices driving increased ridership.
During COVID, we were so low because of requiring essential trips only. So as our economy's starting back up again, people are returning to work, we are seeing an increase in ridership.
Valley Metro says that major events like Fan Fusion and sports games have brought people back. Still, riders like Salvatore say prices at the pump are feeling the increase.
So before COVID, the buses were 100% full every day. Now you see maybe 10%, of the bus occupancy. But it's many reasons. It's not just the gas prices. Some people went back, started working remotely during COVID and didn't come back because they have that flexibility. But I would say most people coming back to the buses is because of gas prices.
Valley Metro officials say that transit schedules were adjusted due to construction and pandemic guidelines, but as of this month, the schedules have returned to the pre-pandemic ones.
After 7 years, Green Valley, outside of Tucson, is losing their only hospital. The Santa Cruz Regional Valley Hospital closed down last week after financially struggling for years. TMC Healthcare, a large healthcare provider in southern Arizona, was all set to buy out Santa Cruz Regional, but backed out last month. The former CEO of Santa Cruz Regional stated that only about 15% of Green Valley residents used the facility. 315 employees will be affected by the closure. TMC Healthcare says that they are working to find as many placements as possible for these employees.
We're soon going to see some pharmaceutical companies pay for damages related to the opioid epidemic. Arizona has secured settlements in 2 multi-state cases totaling $26 billion from 4 pharmaceutical companies. These agreements included Cardinal McKesson and AmerisourceBergen, who are 3 big distributors of opioids, as well as Johnson & Johnson, a manufacturer. Arizona will receive more than $540 million over 18 years for opioid treatment, prevention, and education. The state will get another $10 million for just handling the case.
2021 was the deadliest year for migrants crossing the border. To help Pima County cope with this influx, they are building a new facility. A new $24 million medical examiner facility has been announced. The hope is that this facility will aid the medical examiner's work in tracking and identifying the remains of the bodies found near the border. This happens through the Arizona Open GIS initiative, a project that came out of collaboration between the Pima County Medical Examiner and the nonprofit Humane Borders. The site helps provide specific details about migrant deaths like location and condition, and if possible, the identity of the remains. It's been 2 weeks now since the U.S. Supreme Court said the Constitution does not provide the right to an abortion, but the outcry from abortion rights supporters continues to grow. Daisy Gonzalez-Perez from our Washington Bureau spoke with some activists and supporters at a march on Saturday.
They chanted, they marched, some tied themselves to the White House fence, all to tell President Joe Biden he has to do more to protect abortion rights. The Supreme Court Dobbs ruling said it is up to states to set abortion laws, not the federal government. Chandler resident Ellie Sims said that made it important for her to turn out.
And I recently moved to D.C. from Arizona, and while my right to an abortion is safe here in D.C., I know that my sisters and my trans friends at home are not safe. And while I can sit here comfortably, relatively comfortably, I know that my rights could be taken in any split second.
A pouring rain did not deter a crowd estimated to be in the thousands for Saturday's Summer of Rage march. Rain didn't stop them, and neither did barricades. While many gathered around Lafayette Square, others pushed up to the White House fence, waving signs and tying "Bands Off Our Bodies" bandanas to the fence. The march came a day after the president signed an executive order aimed at safeguarding access to reproductive health services, including protections for abortion medications and for patients to travel to other states for care. Sims, a student at Georgetown, calls that a good start.
Biden's executive order was a good start. It was necessary. He's going to sit here and do something symbolic. He needs to use every ounce of power he has. He needs to push the limits of presidential power.
But others, like Wendy Hidalgo of Northern Virginia, said much more is needed.
I think it was less than we were asking for, and I think it was to try to appease people, but I don't think that it's going to do much in terms of what's happening in this country, and he needs to be much more forceful in what he's doing. And
no counter-protesters were in evidence. The rally was over in less than an hour and a half, but organizers promise it is just the beginning of many more protests to come.
I want my grandchildren to have the same choice as I did, and I'm here with my daughter, who I had by choice because I had a choice, and I want her children to have a choice.
In Washington, Daisy Gonzalez-Perez, Cronkite News.
President Biden was not at the White House for the protest, but was at his home in Delaware this weekend. He told reporters Sunday that abortion rights groups should keep protesting to put pressure on states and Congress. Biden said he is also considering whether he can declare a public health emergency over abortion access.
NASA has been exploring Mars with rovers and orbiters for quite a few years now, but researchers are providing a way for scientists to explore Martian skies. University of Arizona's Micro Air Vehicles Laboratory has developed a prototype glider for exploration on Mars. Researchers say a lot of the planet is not accessible due to rough terrain. But a glider would change that. A machine like this would be able to collect data on the Mars atmosphere as well as help map the planet. All of this information would be used to further research towards human missions. The prototype is currently being tested, and how the glider will get to Mars is a question that hasn't been answered just yet. Coming up after the break, we head to a construction site and examine what construction companies are doing to save money as well as the planet.
Also, how one Arizona dam will be affected by the heat wave and how campers can stay safe in the area.
Okay, let's go right up in here and start having some fun.
Such a thrill to be able to do this.
Recreation is the gateway drug to conservation.
How do you create that perfect straight edge? You can do anything. History is today. Chasing the American dream.
Experience something personal.
A place of imagination.
I can go anywhere I want to go.
You guys are just gonna love it.
An entertainment experience unlike anything.
There's something for everyone with Passport on the PBS Video app.
On Masterpiece Mystery.
Evil can find its roots so easily in an English village.
The landscape of criminal investigation.
Murder Almost certainly.
Modern policing methods.
We endeavour to do our best.
We're working hard to solve this case.
And to make sure justice gets done.
It's a new adventure.
And the rest, as they say, is mystery. I can hardly wait.
Art was one of the powers that made life life. I think we all believed that.
This is a real life story of a real live person.
This was my only connection to my culture.
Fight the power.
Our stories deserve to be heard.
You're passionate and you respect your heritage. That is a perfect recipe.
Now is the time for the Reformation. Now is the time to rebuild the nation.
That's amazing.
You're making me cry.
Some girls can go out there and just steal a spotlight.
This is the moment that we've all been waiting for.
Everyone has something to contribute to humanity. The arts are the thing that does that.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
The rising costs of materials and supply chain issues have caused companies and organizations to think outside the box when it comes to building homes. Cronkite News reporter Jessica Herrera tells us how builders are using alternative materials and new technology on construction sites.
Using foam to build a house sounds surprising, but one local building design company decided to suspend the use of wood altogether.
A 3-layered composite consisting of sapscrete, foam, and sapscrete. All 3 layers combined create this nanotechnology which creates superior power and structural strength.
The foam is pre-cut and put together, reducing on-site labor costs, and the construction time frame is a lot faster.
You're not looking at creating any type of extra material that goes into it. So it's just foam on foam, and then you apply sapscrete when the structure is completed to give that structural cementatious coating to it.
The soft core acts as insulation, while the outer layer adds strength and stability to the frame.
It's like living in an igloo.
Ken Skinner, an experienced home builder, says constructing this foam house has its learning curves, but he looks forward to saving energy costs.
It's at least 20 to 30 degrees cooler on the inside surface than it is the outside surface. So that's going to make a huge difference.
The current state of the housing market and developing technology are motivating companies and organizations to rethink the traditional ways to build homes.
It opens a whole world of design flexibility as well as material savings into it, and therefore by extension cost savings as well. So that's where the attraction is.
New technology isn't just for high-end homeowners.
This could be a worthwhile technology for low-income housing as well as for affordable housing to mitigate homelessness.
Nonprofit organizations like Habitat for Humanity say they are already using innovative technologies such as 3D printers to address the acute housing shortage.
Everybody needs a place to call home, and we're going to have to make it more sustainable, which was one of our goals with this home: more affordable, more efficient, more sustainable. We've got to get to a place where we can bring the costs down, and we think technologies like this will allow that to happen.
Everyone agrees no matter how it's made, the ultimate goal is to make a house a home. In Phoenix, Jessica Herrera, Cronkite News.
According to the National Association of Home Builders, the price of building materials are up by more than 19% and have risen 35% since the start of the pandemic.
High heat means more energy being used to keep homes and businesses cool. Authorities say one dam could be feeling the pressure. The Bureau of Reclamation is asking that visitors use caution when visiting the Glen Canyon Dam. With high energy demands comes the risk of water-related power emergencies. The Bureau has said that in order to keep providing enough power, there may be some unscheduled fluctuations in water releases through the dam. These water flows will not interfere with drought response operations. Water releases can last anywhere from 1 to 2 hours. The Bureau of Reclamation suggests that people make sure their boats are secured and that campers set up out of the way of possible water flows. It's heating up here in Phoenix, so let's check in with Samir Malla in the Weather Center to see how much sunscreen we'll need this week.
Yes, it's going to be a scorcher the next 3-4 days in and around the valley. As we take a look at our evening planner, we're going to remain in the triple digits even at 10 p.m. this evening. And we're taking a look at the weather over the next 48 hours. We're going to see some scattered showers possibly develop in the Flagstaff area at around 7:30 p.m. tomorrow. And then once again during rush hour at around 5 p.m. Wednesday. But most of the valley is going to exhibit sunnier and drier weather. And with that comes heat warnings until 8 p.m. Monday from the central areas of Arizona, like Phoenix, to the southwestern portions like Yuma tonight. And as we take a look at the temperatures in and around the valley, all in the triple digits. As we take a more broader view at Arizona, it's going to be cooler in the higher elevations like 82 in Flagstaff and 86 in Window Rock. Taking a look at the next 3 days, we're going to remain hot and dry, remaining in about 7 to 8 degrees above average for the next 3 days. And then as we conclude and start the next week, it's actually going to drop to 106 and 101 on Tuesday with increasing cloud cover. This is Samir Mallah from the Cronkite Weather Center. Back over to you guys.
I'm Ashley Stevens. Coming up after the break, I'll have your Cronkite Sports Report. We'll tell you all about a partnership that's strong on and off the basketball court.
Okay, let's go right up in here and start having some fun.
Such a thrill to be able to do this.
Recreation is the gateway drug to conservation.
How do you create that perfect straight edge? You can do anything.
History is today.
Chasing the American dream.
Experience something personal.
A place of imagination.
I can go anywhere I want to go.
You guys are just going to love it.
An entertainment experience unlike anything.
There's something for everyone with Passport on the PBS Video app.
On Masterpiece Mystery.
Evil can find its roots so easily in an English village.
The landscape of criminal investigation.
Murder, almost certainly.
Modern policing methods.
We endeavor to do our best.
We're working hard to solve this case.
And to make sure justice gets done. It's a new adventure.
And the rest, as they say, is mystery.
I can hardly wait.
Art was one of the powers that made life life. I think we all believed that.
This is a real life story of a real live person.
This was my only connection to my culture.
Fight the power.
Our stories deserve to be heard.
You're passionate and you respect your heritage. That is a perfect recipe.
Now is the time for the Reformation. Now is the time to rebuild the nation.
That's amazing.
You're making me cry.
Some girls can go out there and just steal a spotlight.
This is the moment that we've all been waiting for.
Everyone has something to contribute to humanity. The arts are the thing that does that.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Welcome back to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Ashley Stevens. The WNBA All-Star Game took place last Sunday in Chicago. While there was an explosion of offense that saw 246 points scored, it was Brittany Griner that was on everyone's mind. 3 days after she pled guilty to drug charges in Russia, Griner was introduced as an honorary All-Star. Las Vegas Aces forward Asia Wilson said after the game, quote, "We are not going to stop until everybody understands how serious this really is." At half, both teams came out of the locker room in Griner's jersey and finished the game wearing number 42. The WNBA commissioner spoke before the game about the continued effort to bring light to Griner's situation.
Griner at this time, she remains a huge priority for us, continues to have our full support, fully focused on getting her home safely and as soon as possible, of course. And as you know, she was named an honorary starter today for the game. We'll have her initials and number on the court and also on the players' warm-up shirts on the back.
More than just a partnership on the sideline, the Scottsdale women's basketball coaches are married. Tasha Washington and Joe Bonham spent their first season leading the Artichoke program this past year. Cronkite News reporter Ian Sachs describes how they are balancing their strong relationship on and off the court.
Tasha Washington is getting set for her second season leading the Scottsdale Community College women's basketball team, whom she played for 2 decades ago. And by her side is her husband, Joe Bonham.
Sitting in this chair, I feel a lot more comfortable that it's my husband. You know, he's gonna have my back more than anybody.
Washington and Bonham met in 2014 while they were both assistant coaches at the Division I level. After getting married, the two took a couple of months off from the game before joining forces to lead an AAU team in Tennessee.
It wasn't 10 years ago that it was so unnatural to have a husband and a wife on a bench together. And just sort of seeing that become mainstream, and you know, I wouldn't work for anybody else, right, in the game of basketball.
You look across the country and there's so many coaches that coach with their spouses. It's not like frowned upon, I think, how it used to be.
The duo complement each other well, as she is more defensive minded and he is more geared toward the offense.
It's awesome just to see them like connect on the court, off the court, and then it brings us together as well, because that connection so well with them two that it makes the connection with us so much better.
Bonham knows his role is simple: to provide ideas to Washington.
Sometimes it's just a matter of, hey, why don't we try this? And if we don't, it's okay, right? It doesn't mean I'm not going to come up with another idea. It just means that one wasn't it.
For this coaching couple, it's their strong bond that has enhanced their ability to combat challenges both on and off the court.
Those hurdles of helping others and pouring your heart and soul into others, and doing it together, the hurdles you hit, it makes your own hurdles not feel as big, right? And certainly the big ones, it's easier to overcome because, I mean, you've done it with, you know, your spouse.
In Washington's first season leading the program, the Artichokes worked through COVID issues and were forced to play 12 games in a 3-week span. In Scottsdale, Ian Sachs, Cronkite News.
Scottsdale finished 3rd in the conference last season after losing to Pima Community College in the semifinals. Washington begins her 2nd season at the helm of the program this fall. The Coyotes introduced their top 3 draft picks today at the Ice Den in Scottsdale. The team is clearly looking to the future after finishing with a 25-50 overall record last season. The Coyotes used the 3rd overall pick in the draft on forward Logan Cooley, who is known as a dynamic scorer. Cooley is from Pittsburgh and was considered the top American available in the draft. But the young prospect, along with the 2 other draftees, will have to show they can make a difference for the Coyotes in the NHL.
Now it's just, you know, they've got to grow a little bit, and they've got to go back to their junior clubs and college clubs and, you know, have good years, and then we'll evaluate after the season. But we were really excited just about the potential that all 3 of them can have. You know, Logan Cooley has got the ability to be a number 1 center. They're hard to find, and Geeky at number 2. And the big man, Maverick Lamoureux, on the backside, a 6'7" right D. They're hard to find.
That's all for today's Cronkite Sports Report. Back to you, Luke.
If you've been looking for a pet but haven't found your 4-legged friend just yet, you're in luck. Because there's a special deal the Arizona Humane Society is giving to adopt out 750 animals by the end of the month.
We tell ourselves stories as a nation.
These stories need to be highlighted, they need to be explored.
We're the dreamers. How serious is America's commitment to looking at its history? How can we learn from the past?
Douglas said, "You're going to look me in the eye and see my humanity."
It's illuminating. I'm seeing the expansiveness of my history.
It's pretty great.
There's so much richness to Black life and Black culture.
I think the story of Muslims in America is the story of America.
Tonight, they are free.
I cannot imagine how excited he must have been.
It's a wonderful feeling. This is why we do this.
It makes me even more committed to struggling for a better world.
Welcome.
How utterly charming.
Are you ready to get it going?
How does an English fan come to be Italian Riviera?
A fresh start.
Can I trust you?
You can't be afraid to show them what you've got, what you want.
Are we having a party?
Of course, the more the merrier.
I love this place. It's my home now. Trouble in paradise. I can't do it on my own.
This is revenge.
There are consequences.
Be careful.
Nothing like this. Nothing like this. You look like you need rescuing.
Don't we all?
What is it that you want?
I just want to let go.
I choose how I live.
There is the passion that I've been looking for.
The Arizona Humane Society is adopting out 750 animals free of charge this month. Thanks to the Bissell Pet Foundation and its Empty the Shelter event, all adoption fees will be waived until the end of the month. Both Humane Society locations are participating, and every animal is spayed or neutered and has all their shots. Every family will be given a free bag of food and a free follow-up exam at a participating hospital. To find your forever friend, you can go to azhumanesociety.org/adopt.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.